Pursuit. Pursuit. A criminal strikes and fades quickly back into the shadows of his own dark world. And then, the man from Scotland Yard, the famous Inspector Peter Black, and the dangerous, relentless Pursuit. When man hunts man. In just a moment, tonight's story.
One of the things you may not notice, but which other people do, is a gradual loss of whiteness and brightness in your teeth. A loss that robs your smile of beauty and you of charm. So if you've been trying to prevent tooth decay by changing your way of cleaning teeth, and your once winning smile has slowly faded, don't wait. Right away, start using a dentifrice that not only helps prevent tooth decay, but also whitens and brightens your teeth, really cleans them. And no dentifrice cleans teeth like powder. You can prove this without risking a penny by trying Dr. Lyon's tooth powder. If you don't agree that Dr. Lyon's tooth powder gets your teeth cleaner than the dentifrice you're now using, that it whitens and brightens your teeth in a way that makes your smile gleam with all of its old-time luster and brilliance, return the package and your money will be refunded. You can buy regular Dr. Lyon's tooth powder, or if you want the best of the ammoniated tooth powders, buy ammoniated Dr. Lyon's. No matter which you prefer, be sure you get Dr. Lyon's and get back your winning smile.
Now, with Ben Wright starred as the famous Inspector Peter Black of Scotland Yard, we bring you tonight's story, Pursuit, and the Ladies of Farthing Street.
This is right, Muppet. You see the sign?
Oh, yeah. Just wait now, I suppose, sir.
You got the time?
It's 1:30 on the dot.
Well, we'll give it 10 minutes. You can't tell.
I don't know, sir. These anonymous letters. So much rubbish, most of them.
Well, there's always one that isn't.
Oh, this is one of them. Oh, there's a lot of places I'd rather be than here.
Oh, you cold, Muppet?
Oh, bit of rheumatism, sir. I don't know. That fog gets in your throat so you can't breathe.
A policeman's lot is not a happy one. Happy one.
Not half, if I may say so, sir.
Yes, you may. We'd better move under the street lamp. You'll be able to see us better. What's the matter?
Chilblains, sir.
Oh. You ever thought about retiring, Muppet?
On nights like this, I do, and it's a fact. Oh, what's that bloody dog think he's doing?
Farthing? Hello. Here's someone.
Go on, move along now, I'll take your win. Police.
What is it about you, Muppet? Look at the little beast, will you? What's he got, a rat?
I don't think so. Yeah, give me that. Come on. Now, drop it. Drop it, boy, drop it. It's a shoe, sir.
Muppet, your hand. Did the dog bite it?
No, sir.
What? Oh, it must have been on the shoe. Come on, the dog came from over there, I think. Shine your torch that way.
Oh, that's nasty, that is.
Yes. Well, now we know where he got the shoe. That morning, the Yard had received an anonymous letter to the effect that the writer was in possession of certain facts concerning a murder. We receive a number of such notes weekly, and all are given routine attention. This one, however, I thought was not of the psychopathic variety, and so Muppet and I had obeyed the instructions. We had gone to an abandoned warehouse in West Ferry Road, arrived there at 10:30 that night, and waited. And now we stood over a man lying face down in an alleyway. There was a dark wetness on and around his body. One shoe was missing. I remember noticing a hole in the heel of the sock. And then Moffat was bending over the dead man.
Stab wound, sir. Back inside.
Now, help me to turn him over, will you?
There it is.
Yeah. You know him?
No, sir.
All right. Let's have a look through the pockets. Any identity card?
Not yet, sir. What? Oh, here. Oh, William Prue. 363 Burdett Road. That's Limehouse.
Let me see the signature. Hold the torch down, will you? Ah, yes. Same writing.
The letter we got from the Jack this morning?
That's right. Here.
Oh. Yes, I'd say it was the same, sir. Well, there's this, too. There's something written on the back of a bus ticket, it looks like.
Huh? Daffodil and Tulip, Farthing Street. Now, what the devil is that?
Oh, best if I know, sir.
Well, we'd better have him taken to the yard. Poor devil. He knew something about a murder, all right. Too much. The next day at the yard, Sergeant Moffat and I began to work on the identification of the dead man known to us as William Prue. The Fingerprint Bureau, sorting through over 10 million prints in their files, Criminal Record Office to determine the same with photographs. We knew that our task would be considerably simpler were the deceased a known criminal. And further, it was necessary to establish the authenticity of the identity card which every resident of the United Kingdom is required to carry. At 2 o'clock, a report came through on another inquiry which I had made through CRO. Chief Inspector Black here.
Hello, Black. This is Criminal Records. Roach speaking.
Oh, hello, Roach. I hear you broke your arm the other day.
Nothing serious. Fell off the ladder up here. I say about that address. 363 Burdett Road. Belongs to a chap named Stephen Wings.
Oh, yes?
We haven't got a thing. Clean as a bin.
Well, what is the place?
As far as we know, a boarding house. Mostly seamen. Wings registered with the police. All perfectly legitimate.
I see. Is there anything about William Prue yet?
Half a tick. William Prue Proctor. Right. Hello.
Yes?
Not yet. We'll let you know. Probably an hour.
All right. Thanks very much, Roach. I say take care of your arm.
I shall. Say hello to old Moff. Bye-bye.
Chief Inspector Black here.
Officer, I've traced that bus ticket we found. Daffodil and Tulip, Farthing Street.
Oh, good.
It's a tea shop in Kent.
Righto. Well, look, nothing's come in here, so have the car brought round, will you? I'll run down to the place.
Right, sir.
The Daffodil and Tulip turned out to be a very pleasant cottage without the remotest sign of either daffodil or tulip growing in the gardens. It had been remodeled to attend the public needs, but retained the charm of a private dwelling. The season was evidently slow, and I was received by a very large maiden lady who bore down on me like a ship of the line.
Good afternoon, Chief, sir. Would you like to go over there? You can see the white turkeys. Of course, they're molting and rather bad-tempered. This way, please. Such delightful weather, don't you think?
Madam...
Miss Montague, don't you know?
I'm from Scotland Yard. Chief Inspector Black.
Oh, then you haven't come for tea.
No.
Oh, he hasn't come for tea, Letty dear. Turn off the gas. We saw you coming up the path. Business has been a little awkward, don't you know?
Yes, I understand. Now, I wonder if I may ask you one or two questions?
Oh, is it about the grocer's bill? Letty!
Yes, sir. Come in.
Miss Minton and I are partners. Such a dear little place, don't you think?
Is there a stranger?
Letty, this gentleman is a policeman. He wants to ask us questions.
Good heavens.
It concerns a man named William Prue. Are you acquainted with him?
Prue? William Prue? No, we're not.
Oh, no.
We found a bus ticket which bore on the reverse side this address.
How very odd.
It's very.
During the past week or two, do you remember serving any men, maybe roughly dressed, possibly seamen?
We do not cater to common people, Inspector.
Oh, no, never. Not vagabonds, surely not.
Now, this man was about 45, 5'7", about 10 stone, had gray hair, nose was broken, blue eyes.
You speak as though he's dead.
I'm afraid that he is.
Oh, dear, how hard I didn't think it was only last week.
Then you recognize the description?
Yes. He said he'd known Percy, Miss Mitten's brother.
Oh, dear.
We didn't know his name, though.
May I speak to Mr. Minton, please? Does he live here?
Well, I never.
I think I'm going to cry.
I'm so sorry, dear. That was most unkind, Inspector. Everybody knows. Most unkind.
I'm afraid I don't...
You must have known about Percy. Everybody does.
Miss Montague, what does everybody know?
You say you're a policeman. You should know. Percy has been in prison for 15 years now. He was sent there for murder.
When your hair starts thinning out, don't ignore it. Do something about it. And the thing to do when excessive falling hair is caused by infectious dandruff is use double danderine, a remarkable dandruff product that gives such effective relief that even in some of the most stubborn cases, results have been amazing. Double danderine really works because it destroys the germ Pityrosporum ovale, which many outstanding authorities say is a common cause of infectious dandruff. Only by destroying this germ can you get the real dandruff relief you need. Preparations that simply remove loose dandruff have no effect on it. But double danderine, which is completely safe to use, actually kills this dandruff-causing germ on contact. So if your hair is falling out excessively because of infectious dandruff, try dousing your scalp with double danderine, the remarkable dandruff product that guarantees dandruff relief or your money back. Tomorrow, get double danderine.
Now, the second act of Pursuit and the Ladies of Farthing Street.
How could you be so cruel, so heartless?
Miss Montague, I didn't know. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I must still trouble you for some facts.
I thought at first that you were a gentleman. I perceive that you are not. What is it that you wish to know?
This man we'll call Prue. Did he give any reason for speaking of Mr. Minton? Or did he want to see him? Or was he a friend?
He said so, that he had known him some time ago.
Where?
He didn't say.
You said that he gave no name.
He did not. He had his tea like a gentleman and then went away.
And you didn't tell him where Mr. Minton was?
Certainly not.
Did the murder of which Mr. Minton was convicted take place in London?
Yes.
I see.
Now, Inspector, I have nothing more to say. Neither, I'm sure, has Miss Minton.
She had never seen or heard of the man before.
No, never.
Do you wish to tell me where Mr. Minton was sent?
Dartmoor Prison. Good afternoon.
I had been far from satisfied with my interview at the Daffodil and Tulip tea shop. There were several questions unanswered and others still to be asked. I felt, though, at the time that the knowledge I had gained would be amplified by whatever evidence had been uncovered at the yard. When I reached the office, the reports were already on my desk.
Here we are, sir.
Got him. Yes, this is our man, Prue, all right.
Oh, sir?
Uh-huh. Fingerprint Bureau. William Henderson, age 46, etc., etc. Now listen to this, Moffat. CRO report. William Henderson, 3 arrests, 2 convictions at 1925, 1931, 1948. Yes, with the last 2 put him away. Now, let's see. The first count was burglary, insufficient evidence. Then forgery in 1931 and 1948. Petty stuff, sir. Yes, it's interesting here.
Something, sir.
He was in Dartmoor on the last conviction.
You think he knew Minton there?
And we're going to find out. Well, the identity card is obviously a fraud, and so is the name Prue. Now, look here. I want you to find everything in the file on Minton's case.
Right, you are, sir.
I'm going to call the governor at Dartmoor and arrange for an interview tomorrow. 15 minutes later, I was leafing through the file of Percival Minton. The murder and subsequent trial were remarkably uniform in their simplicity. Minton had shot and killed a friend who was visiting his flat. There had been drinking and a quarrel. No witnesses, only the admission of guilt on the part of the accused. His sister, Miss Letitia Minton, had been attending a play with a companion, Miss Edwina Montague. On their return, they were met at the door by Minton, who told them to call the police. This was done, and the case for the crime was completed 3 months later, Minton pleading guilty. Sentence, life imprisonment. The next day, Moffat and I drove through a cold, grey mist and arrived that evening at the lonely pile of stone, which is Dartmoor. We went immediately to the governor's office.
Now, Inspector, you wish to see Minton, and on the phone you were inquiring about a released prisoner.
Yes, Henderson, sir. William Henderson.
Oh, yes.
Tell me, did they share a cell?
Just a moment. Minton has been in the second gallery since his arrival. It was 1936, October the 20th.
Uh-huh.
And Henderson was brought here May the 12th, 1948. He was in the first gallery, cell number 6. No, they were never together.
Oh, I see. Would there have been any possibility of a close friendship between these two?
It's rather doubtful. Minton is a long-term prisoner, class number 3 medically. He's on task, over 60. Henderson was class number 1. He was employed sewing mail bags.
Uh-huh.
And their recreation periods were separate. Now, their chances for contact were nil, I should say.
Would there be any way of knowing if the two men had known each other previously to Henderson's arrest? I mean, possibly visits by Henderson to Minton?
I don't think so. However, that will take some time. We'll have to go through the visitor's book.
Yes, very well, sir. Well, now, if I may, I'd like to talk to the prisoner.
Of course. I'll have one of the staff take you.
The rules of English prisons are rigidly enforced, both the convict and visiting official. In order to question Percival Minton, I had to submit to the presence of a member of the prison staff. Now, this is a provision which protects police and prisoner alike from the possible suggestion that in questioning, coercion was used. In America, it's called the third degree. The guard led me to the second gallery and past quiet cells where men dressed in grey sat smoking or reading. They looked up, eyes alight with a momentary interest, and then were gone from my sight.
Hello, Percy. Got a visitor for you.
Huh?
After you, sir.
Minton?
I haven't done something wrong.
Now, Percy, no lip.
That's all right. Minton, since you've been here, have you run across a man named William Henderson?
Henderson? No.
Are you sure? Gray hair, broken nose?
That description would fit half of Dartmoor. Eh, Sonny?
Now, Percy.
He says that he was an old friend of yours.
I have no old friends, no young ones either.
He went to see your sister 2 weeks ago.
No. That's not true. He didn't. I don't believe it.
Then you did know him?
No, I didn't. I just don't want my sister to know anybody from this place. Nobody, not even me. I don't allow her to visit. You're lying to me.
I'm not, Minton. Now, this man was found dead, murdered. He had an address in his pocket. The Daffodil and Tulip Tea Shop.
He didn't. No, he didn't. No.
Easy on, Percy.
We received a letter from Henderson. He stated that he knew something about a murder. He wished to give us that information.
I told you I don't know this person. He doesn't know me. Please leave me alone. It's not fair. You shouldn't be allowed to follow me in here. I'm paying. You have no right. I'm a murderer. This is what I live now.
That's enough, Percy.
I'm paying for what I do. Leave my sister alone and leave me alone. Go away. Go away.
There was something rather terrible about his passion. He was a very little man with a gentle face now transformed. Tears streamed from his eyes, and the voice became shrill, almost a scream. I left the guard to quiet him, and as I walked back to the governor's office, I was reminded of a phrase from some dimly remembered novel. There is no loneliness to compare to the loneliness of a prison night. The governor's records in the visitor's book showed no indication that Henderson had ever come to see Minton. The supposition then was that there had been no contact between the men in Dartmoor. Therefore, it was our job to link them elsewhere. And we proceeded with this theory the following day. And put as many men as you can spare on it, will you? And in particular, find out Henderson's whereabouts between 1932 and 1936. There's not much else we can do at the moment, Martin.
I'm afraid not, sir.
There has to be a motive. Why kill Henderson?
Maybe there's no connection between Minton and him at all.
No, there's something there. Why did Henderson go to the tea shop in Kent? And we've got to assume that he knew he wouldn't find Minton there. Why?
I'm blowed if I know, sir.
You know, there's a funny thing, Moffat. According to Minton, he never allowed his sister to visit him. I just wonder... Hello, Black here.
Hello, Inspector. This is Governor Rexford, Dartmouth.
Oh, yes, sir.
Look here. I made further inquiries about her men. Now, a year ago, there was a mild influenza epidemic here. The hospital report states that both Henderson and Minton were admitted.
Good. Go on, sir.
It's better than that. They were in the same ward for 2 weeks, next to each other. Is that what you're looking for?
Wonderful. Thank you very much, sir. Up to that moment, there was no positive proof. But 3 hours later, we had it. A date on a bus ticket, and 2 gray hairs which biological laboratory found on the clothing of the dead man. And when I went back to the Daffodil and Tulip, I knew who had murdered William Henderson. It only remained to learn why.
Have you come for tea this time?
No, Miss Minton. Is there an office where we can have a few words?
Oh, dear, but the customers...
I'm afraid that can't be helped.
no. Well, then, perhaps in the pantry. Edwina's there.
Well, I should like to speak to her, too.
There's a crumpet for the end table, dear. Oh, well, I'll attend to this, dear. You take the tea out.
No, Miss Montague. Tea will have to wait. Now, you told me that a man had come to your shop a week ago asking about Mr. Minton.
It's true, it is.
I'm sure of that, Miss Minton. And you didn't see him after that?
No, didn't we? We did not.
Well, I have here a bus ticket which proves that he made a trip down here the day before he died.
I'm sure.
There are 2 long gray hairs which were found on the deceased's clothing. I believe they'll be shown to be yours, Miss Montague.
How stupid of you. Why should I dream of...
Killing the man? Well, it may be better if you told us. However, I must warn you that anything you say will be taken down in evidence.
Edwina, what does he mean?
I suggest, Miss Montague, that the murdered man was in possession of certain facts which he had obtained from Miss Minton's brother. Facts with which he was attempting to blackmail you.
No.
That you were unable to meet his demands and killed him.
I did do it, didn't I, Edwina?
Stop it, Reggie. Yes, I killed him. You're quite right.
Didn't I, Edwina? All this time you said...
He had nothing whatsoever to do with this, Inspector. I killed him. He came here a week ago. And then again the night before. It happened. He said he'd tell the police about something. What doesn't matter. Then he told me that if I'd meet him at 10:15 at the warehouse on West Ferry Road with £1,000, he wouldn't say anything to the police. We had no money. So I went there and stabbed him. I confess. Forgive me, Letty.
Why? Miss Montague, why did you do it?
I know why.
Stop it!
I can
Letty!
tell you.
No!
I'm sorry, dear. I'm so sorry. I thought Edwina behaved strangely after the man came to see us. She said it was nothing, but I know her. You get to know people whom you love.
No! No, don't listen to her!
I never really believed you were Percy, Edwina. Inspector, my brother is in prison for what I did. He took the blame for the murder I did 15 years ago.
Yes, it's true.
And you were willing to ruin your life for her, Minton?
It's not ruined, Inspector. I haven't been so unhappy here. I've known that what I did was right. My father would have wanted it.
Your father?
Oh, yes. He died a long time ago. He asked me to take care of Letty. I always took care of her, you know. And then 15 years ago, she must have been 35 then, she met a man, not a tall, suitable person, you know. She became infatuated. I didn't realize how much so. Father would never have approved. Oh, it was disgusting.
Why did she kill him?
She was drunk one evening, revoltingly drunk. Didn't know what she was doing. Edwina and I, she was a very old friend, you know, we had gone to a play. Well, Letty invited that man to our flat. It happened just before we came home. The shame would have killed Father had he been alive.
And so you took the blame for what she did.
Edwina agreed to look after her, just as Father would have wanted me to do.
And you weren't aware that you told all this to Henderson when you were in the hospital together?
I know. I was quite ill. I suppose delirious. Now I expect I shall have to leave here. I wonder what it would be like outside.
It was a sensational trial, sordid and tragic. The odd little man who had relinquished 15 years of his life was pardoned. He soon afterwards disappeared. The Daffodil and Tulip is once again a private cottage in Farthing Street, Kent. Pursuit. And the pursuit is ended.